Welcome, Lisanna and Lynn.
Hello, everyone.
And
Hi.
Hello. So, our Friday show is where we talk about connection. And the reason we've asked you to join us today is because you have been responsible for the organisation of TEDx UniSA talks, and we want to know more. So, could you tell us a little bit about organising TEDx UniSA?
Yep. So I guess everyone out there probably, hopefully, in one stage of their life have at least watched a TED talk. TED is that platform around the world that we collect talks from around the world, basically, and then we spread those ideas that are worth spreading. TEDx UniSA is a local part of TED. So for TEDx UniSA, we're trying to spread those ideas from our local community in Adelaide, in South Australia, from interstate, and in occasions we also have got speakers from overseas. So we are a club that's basically formed by University of South Australia students and some alumni. And at the moment, our goal is to share those ideas with spreading to the world from our local community. Last year is our first year that we were running TEDx UniSA, and the theme for last year was emergence. For this year, we choose reflexivity as our theme. And as according to that, we select some ideas for the talks that are relevant to the theme and deliver it as an event.
Yeah, and we think reflexivity for this year is more relevant to the recent situation. As we know, we just have COVID-19 pandemic, and we think one of the meaning for reflexivity is that what we can reflect and what we can learn from the experiences and how to bring it down like for future purpose. So we think this frame is more educational and it's more relevant.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, especially this year is just an excellent match for that theme. Now, how have you adapted the project while people aren't able to physically attend in person right now?
So it has been a challenge, to be honest, in terms of we cannot see face to face and actually focusing on the project like we did last year. However, we are coming into a digital age, I guess. Everything can be done via Zoom. We call each other all the time. It's probably the one good side about being in isolation is that you can have early meetings. So instead of having meetings at 12 a.m. like we have in the past, now we can actually have meeting at 1 p.m. Daily and things like that. So we're still very much active, which is great. We just try to pump each other with motivation quotes every day, and then get into the game.
Yes, I think we've quite enjoyed a Zoom meeting. Like we always have regular Zoom meeting with Lynn. Like we see each other quite regularly, face to face. We love that. Yes.
it sounds like you have a lot to say yourselves about reflexivity during this time, not only as a theme, but also how you've actually put together TEDx UniSA this year. But speaking more generally about not just this year, but also last year and your involvement with it, what has been the most interesting part of the work that you've done with TEDx UniSA?
Hey, let me go first then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um, uh, for me personally, TEDx UniSA have really opened up, I guess, a new world for me. The network in the TED community is absolutely incredible. It opens me up to so many different opportunities to attend other conference interstates and overseas, of course. It developed me as a better leader and a better, I think, human being in a sense as well. You need to know a lot about how to make your teams being passionate, drive everything with a vision, I think. So that's so interesting to be in charge of something that is like your baby, something that is your own, especially when you are in the stage that you're still studying, I think.
Yeah, and for myself will be like because that was that was our very first event. So from zero, from nothing to something's happened. So it's not easy, and we have our other commitment, and we all have to contribute a lot of efforts and time and trying to like at the same time, we're not only deliver an event, we're trying to also inspire the people and also inspire ourselves with the TED Talk. So it's quite meaningful. And also the greatest thing is that we can meet lots of new people. So I basically meet Linh in here in this event.
And amongst all these interesting things, has there been anything surprising or something you really didn't expect that you've encountered in the role? Maybe Lisanna, you could speak to that first.
Something that I'm not expected. We would say, okay, some funny things. When we decided some of the marketing stuff, we're actually thinking like, oh, well, that kind of logo should be fit enough in that position. You know, when we up to the venue, then we discover that the logo that we're trying to design maybe is not fit like to the venue. So like that's the first thing, like some of the little tiny things that we think we can do like better. And also in terms of marketing, before we just think that it's just so easy to post regularly, but then it's not the case. Like we have to test different types of the posts. For example, video types or just a generic post, or even though we have a promotional video. So we have to test different contents and see which type of the contents we can get the most engagement. So that's the funniest part. How about you, Linh?
I think, to be honest, last year when we pushed out the tickets, we didn't expect it to sold out, I guess, at one point. So when it sold out, everyone was just like, whew. So but it's also in that sense that last year when we actually open up our channels for volunteers quite late in the game. And when they come in, we literally sit them down and say, okay, now you have 2 weeks to come up with a stage prop that is probably 2 meters by 2 meters. So they are horrified by that. And for the fact that volunteers who have never met each other before coming to each other, they try to set up meetings themselves and just do it, and then they finish it up and it was looking amazing. It really surprised me, to be honest. Yes.
Yeah. I always love those kind of unexpected things that come up on the way, because they're always the kind of most random things often. You just never would foresee them. It also sounds like you work your volunteers pretty hard, which is good to know. But one other thing I'd like to know, while we're on the topic of the ins and outs of doing what you do, I'd like to know what the most challenging aspects of putting on TEDxUniSA have been so far. Perhaps Linh, you could start.
Sure. I think in terms of last year, for example, that's our first year, right? When we look at the first year of starting something new, and for an event of this caliber, it's really something that has not been done much, even in University of South Australia or even in the state. So we're looking at events with a lot of money put into it, and we actually entrust a lot of money from university even. And we were thinking, what are we going to do with all of this? So for us, tiny little university students, to go out there and search for sponsorship, there was a big challenge in them. And coming from that perspective into this year with COVID-19, we totally understand that when sponsors reply to us and say, we cannot commit to anything at this time because we need to create relief packs for customers, for our community, not with just COVID-19, but also with the effects from the bushfire at the start of the year. That's definitely something that we have to consider about. It has been very, very challenging in that sense. But that's when we go back and we reflect on our plan again, and we decided on a new date and think about how can we fix this in some sense. That's from sponsorship.
I guess for our side, like marketing side, I would say the trickiest part is that how can we continue engage with our target audiences, especially during the special situations, because our target audiences are students. And with the isolations was on, right? And we try to put the posters on the US campus or the other campus, no one's going to see it because students have to stay at home, have to study at home, and like no one really can engage with us directly. Or even though we have planned to have some barbecue events or any other tea gatherings, so everything has to we have to put everything on hold. So which is, I guess, that's a little bit, but we get there because we utilize the online media platforms. So we continue to upload our latest information and some of the announcement through the social media channels to get them still aware of our events. So, which is great.
Yeah, it really is. And a thing I was talking about with someone earlier today is how to deal with the saturation of online events. So kind of just going back to, dealing with that, you're not having people in person. Is there a particular, this might be going a bit left field, but is there any particular strategy involved with going, hey, there's such a massive amount of online events going on. How do we get ours heard?
Right. I think we'll have some strategy to put in place. We will say, I don't know if you heard about like the AIDA formula. So A stands for attention, so I is interest, so D is desire, and A is action. So we basically follow this marketing strategy. So we first of all bring out the attention, like we have this event now in place. We have TEDx UniSA. How can we get them interested and know about our events? So we put some, when we say interest, we have some problems and solutions involved. So not only we have the tech talk, but how can the tech talk inspire you guys? Like, how can you get the tech talks and then be able to fix your mental health, or knowing that maybe social distancing is not the main issue to eliminate your emotional distancing, etc. Right? And then when you get the desired base, we can kind of advertise what are the features and benefits that you have, even though you wanted to just participate in our events, or you wanted to be our speakers, our volunteers, or sponsors. So, and then call to action, apparently just follow our page, subscribe us, so that kind of thing. So I think if we follow this kind of thing and test different types of videos or social content, so we will work our solution.
Yeah, I can imagine it's a massive undertaking.
Yeah. One of the things probably I'm adding to it is that was the conversations we got just around 2 months ago, when we were deciding whether we postpone our event to a later date and still make it a live event, or do we push it online. And we came to the conclusion that we are literally postponing our event for another 8 months. We're pushing it all the way to March next year, because we still want people to get that experience. We don't want it to be an online event when people are just be there. There'll be a lot of times when people will Zoom in, get out, get in, get out. And the difference of TED as an event compared to other types of event is that for TED, we have a varieties of content. And a lot of times you might not be comfortable with some of the areas that the topics might be covering. If you are in mental health, you might not know much about astrophysics like last year we got, but it's a really good way to open up your perspective and understand a little bit more about, okay, so that's the big picture of what the world is going on at the moment, and then get some sense of directions in terms of where I can go and utilize these opportunities.
And you've been, so just doing it for 2019 and 2020, so you've kind of gone graduates to TEDx UniSA to TEDx UniSA during, a global pandemic. So I don't know if you'll be able to give, or you'll probably be able to give great advice. So what would you say to other people who might be thinking about getting involved with TEDx or looking for a talk?
We say, to me, like John, my personal experiences, because before I'm quite shy person, like I'm not really good at present in front of people, just very shy personality. But TEDx UniSA, like when I start joining this club, I actually start open my other side, my other personality. So because we actually have so many ideas internally. Like everyone have their ideas and have their expectations, right, or their goals, but then just no one trigger the point. So when I joined the TEDx club, and then Lynn always asks, like us and also the other committee members, what are your thoughts, what are your ideas, and then you start keep thinking consistently. So, and then like the ideas just come up, and then I become more confident or comfortable to speak in front of like the public. So I guess if people could think that who wanted to really change or change yourself or inspire yourself, definitely come to TEDx UniSA, like be part of us, or even though be our speakers, influence the other people, because we have a long time social distancing. All right, it's enough. Like it's time to get together and hold hand in hand. And do you have any thoughts?
Because I guess we've got a round of expression of interest for speakers back in around April. Because now we're postponing our event, we are actually having another round of expression of interest open up very soon, around next month. So that probably is a good news to some of the speakers that might have been unsuccessful in the past, unfortunately. But I think right now is probably one of the really, really good time if you want to do a TED Talk. Why I say that is sometimes adversity can bring out an outbreak, can bring out ideas, can bring out a lot of things from you. Look at all the scientists all over right now trying to work endlessly to try to bring a cure to all of our problems out there. And I wouldn't be surprised if out of this pandemic, we see some breakthrough in science, for example. For isolations, we're staying at home. I think a lot of us will be reflecting on ourselves. How are we taking care of our mental health? How are we taking care of our physical health and things like that? Are we trying to decluttering our life? So I think there might be some amazing ideas coming out of situations like this. And we are more than welcome to have those talks in our event. So hopefully we can inspire some more people. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the next TEDx event could be rife with revelations and huge lessons that have come out of this time. I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure there's going to be a lot. And I like what you were saying before about the reasoning about pushing it backward in order to have a physical event, because I think that I agree. It's one of the greatest things about the conference style events is you can find yourself just kind of wandering into a room and being like, what's this talk about? And you don't have that same kind of incidental discovering of things online. You can't just kind of stumble into a place and be like, oh, I guess I'll sit here for 15 minutes and listen to what this is about. But I'm interested, we're talking about people coming to TEDx UniSA, but maybe we could cast your minds back to what got you involved with TEDx, and maybe what inspired you to get involved, the journey to getting from graduates to working for TEDx UniSA. Would you like to start, Lisanna?
Well, you mean maybe
because of me.
Because I guess just like a balance. I don't know. Like it's a good question though. Think of it first. Linh, do you want to go first?
I'm the one who started TEDx UniSA as the idea. I bring it to the board of the club that we were both in at the time, Golden Key UniSA chapter. So I bring it up because I was so inspired by one of the talks that I see at that point in time. And we will bring it up to see this as a possible small event for Golden Key. So how about we just have a small event, bring up some group talks online and everyone just discuss around it. And then after we tried to plan it for a while, we were thinking, this is not enough. This is not doing it justice with the time that we're putting in, with all of the ideas that is surrounding us right now. So we went to talk to the Student Academic Service Office Director of our university. And he said, I like your idea. I'm giving you $10,000. And trust me, for a club, $10,000 is a lot of money. So that's when we are like, okay, so this has to be done very well. This has to really bring up some amazing ideas out there, create some amazing experience. And from there on, we create this concept of TEDx UniSA. We talk to other TEDx organizers all over Australia. like organizer from TEDx Sydney, organizer from TEDx Brisbane, TEDx Perth, trying to find out a possible structure for our events. And then I just go around and beg people to help me. So Lisanna was one of the first people that I begged to help. And she was so happy to help me at that time. And just one by one, one person tell the next person, and a lot of people get interested. And then before I know it, I got a team of more than 25 people, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's very good that while we're having our work, like I graduate from uni and I have some work experience, then to me, why not just contribute back to the community? Like, you're not just learning your work experience, you want to build up your career path, but you also wanted to stay connected with the community. You also wanted to stay connected with our friends. And so also contribute back like UniSA, because we've educated from this amazing university for a few years. We learn a lot. So that's kind of my goal to like a work-life balance.
It's so great to hear that that once you presented this idea to people that they got on board. I think it's testament to the strength of TEDx and the strength of the work that you've done to bring it to UniSA. So for the next few months, we know that you've got the delayed event for this year happening. Was it March next year?
Yes.
Yep. So what does the next little while look like for you from this point?
Okay, so maybe this time my turn first. Yeah, okay. So actually, we are so excited because now the stage 2 restrictions has now lifted. So we are very excited to get engaged with our audiences again. So we actually have quite lots of events lighting up at the moment. So we're going to have a competition and frame competition, and so for those finalists artwork and videos, so they will be featured on our event dates and also in our merchandise. And also we are going to run an online program. It's called TED Circle event. So this event is basically we're going to invite a small group of people. So we watch a TED Talk together. After that, we have a sharing section and we can share our ideas and feedback and other thoughts. So we think this is a great opportunity to test whether how's the engagement with the online stream, and also what are the audience's expectations, and then we can add those values onto our upcoming events. And I think Linh have more information.
Yeah, I think one of the good aspects about TED Talks that people don't know about is that in TED events, you don't just hear talks after talks after talks after talks. You have performance in between. You have an experience of merchandise. You have sponsors actually with booth around you to go in and immerse yourself in an environment like that. So we have been trying really hard since last year to how are we incorporate more arts in this event. It's not just about, having a few talks, and then we're going to put it online, but also about, okay, can we put some arts in our merchandise that are amazing arts? Can we have an original songs? Last year, we had a choir from UniSA singing a traditional Aboriginal songs in our event, which is really amazing to hopefully introduce that culture to some international students who were at our events, for example. Also, in the next few months, we also want to look at how we can extend the social network. And as I've mentioned before, bring in more speakers now and to make our event better, and trying to expand our networks for volunteers as well. In this time, it's actually quite difficult to recruit volunteers. But now, as we have a milestone at around March, we are hoping that would help us a little bit to make people believe that maybe by then, hopefully, we'll be able to solve this problem already, and they can actually be there, be safe, be healthy at our event.
And if people are interested to volunteer or be a speaker or anything, so where would you recommend they go for more information?
They can first place to go definitely is our website. So please feel free to visit our website www.TEDxUniSA.com, or feel free to follow us on our social media platforms. So we basically have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter and LinkedIn. So you can always see our updates and the latest information there.
You're everywhere.
You guys, you also have online platforms in here.
And
you also might see us in our partners' social media and media channel platform as well, like Golden Key. I think in USASA as well, and Study Adelaide will also have a feature of us very soon. So stick around. You probably will see us everywhere soon.
And all those links for TEDx UniSA will be in our Twitch chat. So if you're watching online, you can click those links through for more information. Thank you so much to Lisanna and Lynn for joining us today. We've really appreciated you taking time to talk with us.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you so much.